I'm Fritjof Capra.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Michael Cornwall.
So my name is Petra Pijpaard.
So I'm Will Hall.
I'm James Norwood.
So I'm Jack Gipple.
My name is Nita Gage.
I'm Andy Turkington.
Hi, my name is Dina Tyler.
I'm Michael Guy Thompson.
I'm Esalen Hobart.
I'm Connor Tyndall.
I'm a physicist and systems theorist, and for the last 30 years or so I've developed a synthesis of a new systemic understanding of life, an understanding in terms of relationships, in terms of patterns, connectedness, in terms of context.
I'm a psychotherapist here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I've been specializing in helping people going through periods of emotional distress now for about 35 years. And
I'm a Montessori teacher from Holland. I immigrated here in 1971, and after being in the country for a couple of years, I saw the need for an alternative education.
I'm a therapist and trainer, and I work with states of consciousness that get diagnosed as bipolar or schizophrenic or psychosis.
I've been training as a clinical psychologist for the past 5 years. First at Sophia University, training in transpersonal psychology for 2 years, and then at the California Institute of Integral Studies, where I learned a great deal about psychoanalysis.
I'm a senior clinician with Windhorse Community Services in Boulder, Colorado. Right now I work as a psychotherapist and team supervisor.
I am a clinical psychologist, but mostly what I do now is lead transformative workshops with a bit of a shamanic edge to it, and also just using transformational experiences. But I originally trained with R.D. Laing in London in the 70s as a psychotherapist.
I've worked in psychiatry as a psychiatric nurse and a psychotherapist for about the last 40 years.
And I'm the co-founder and board member of the Bay Area Hearing Voices Network. I also co-facilitate the Voices, Visions, and Different Realities support group in San Francisco. I'm also the co-director of the Bay Area Mandala Project, a group that is working on creating alternatives in mental health.
In the 1970s, I went to work with R.D. Laing in London, who at that time was famous for his unconventional ways of working with severe mental states. And I spent about 7 years working with Laing, lived in one of the household communities that he established called Portland Road, that was modeled on his original project, Kingsley Hall.
I'm involved with the Gnosis Retreat Center project. I'm actually a board member. I'm also a graduate student at the California Institute of Integral Studies in the clinical psychology department.
For over 3 billion years, nature has sustained life on Earth, and it has done so by creating and nurturing communities. And so community is a very essential aspect of life. A healthy living environment is an environment where communities flourish. And this is why I'm so interested in this Gnosis project, because it is a retreat in which people with extreme experiences find shelter, find refuge, and find healing through community. The community, the living community, is therapeutic and healing.
I'm really glad to be part of the Gnosis Retreat Center project. It's something that so many people need and often can't find a safe place, a caring environment where they can be themselves and be with others who are very supportive. So I just wanted to say how glad I am that this project's starting, and I look forward to the day when the doors are open and people can go and be in a safe haven.
I saw a need in this society for alternative treatment. Besides being locked up, let's say on the 5150 they call it later, 5250. And I met the Gnosis people that are starting this alternative treatment. I believe in it, I want to support it, and I know we will be successful.
I have also been colleagues with a number of the people who are involved with the Gnosis Retreat Center, and I feel very inspired that they are developing this project. Really solid group of people, very, very caring and loving, with also a tremendous amount of experience helping people in distress in much different and more effective ways. So we need more centers like Gnosis Retreat Center, and I encourage you to do whatever you can to support the development of the center and spread the word about it.
This Retreat Center aspires to be a place that's a safe place to be when you want to come home. A safe place to be when you're feeling out of your wits, lost, confused, unsure of where to turn. We're trying to be a place where when you're not sure who to trust, this is a place where you can feel safe. And that's, I think, the magic of Gnosis Retreat Center.
Humans are, we're just primates. I mean, we all think we're not primates. We're primates, you know. And primates are family. They live in tribal family constellations, and an awful lot of our kind of current disturbances in our world are the alienation and the isolation and the kind of just loneliness, the profound loneliness of our time is at the root of so many problems. And so when you create constellations of people, it's good for us primates. We need that. We need to be part of a group, right?
One of the people who holds that and allows others to come and to work there and to live there and to find their way in the same manner that I was able to in the 70s. And I highly support people in getting outside of the normal constraints when you're having a hard time. When you're having an extremely hard time or a mildly hard time. I think there's very little place in the country right now where you can do that. So that's my reason for supporting Gnosis House.
It's been my experience that over the years that actually the less intrusive you can be, the better it is for the person going through things. Not that one doesn't offer some kind of assistance, support, understanding, presence, as they say, but it's very hard to find that kind of non-intrusive accommodation for people who are maybe psychotic, hallucinating, or just extremely withdrawn within themselves. And it's very much needed as a place where people can go and not feel that they have to be medicated.
There's such a great need to have a retreat center like this for people that are struggling. I work with people every day that are going through what has been labeled as psychosis, and often people need a place to get out of their current situation and need a place that is healing, where they can find a sense of community and just have a connection with other human beings, form these relationships that are truly the most healing thing for them.
So remarkable about this project was that it did not use conventional psychiatric treatment for people that were typically diagnosed as schizophrenic or bipolar or other kinds of psychotic conditions. Instead, it was simply a residential household that was set up where people could live together without predefined roles, without any kind of ostensible treatment taking place. And yet, this environment produced a healing experience for the people living there. What was healing about it was the unusual intimacy that this kind of environment was able to establish, where instead of going for treatment, people were simply going to be living as best they could with other people and trying to work through all of the barriers that they had previously experienced in becoming intimate with friends and other people in their social circles. Typically, people that get diagnosed schizophrenic are homeless or live with their parents. or are institutionalized. The biggest problem they have is relating to other people without being paranoid and terrified.
I just really think that houses like this are so important. It's so important to have places where people's autonomy can be respected, where what they're going through is seen as a process with meaning rather than something that needs to be suppressed, and really to have a place of community, to have a support system, to have friends. And I think that's what's really beautiful about these houses. They really provide that.
To know that there are options or alternatives with the way that these extreme states are held is really hopeful to me. And to be able to be a part of that is also a sort of a transmutation of my experience into something in a way of being of service. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this project.